بسم الله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا المصطفى. قال الله تعالى في كتابه المجيد الفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. صدق الله العظيم. Last week we had finished in the middle of the verse. We were speaking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Asma' bihim wa absir, how great is the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how encompassing is the hearing and the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah Luqman, he says, يا بني إنها إن تكن مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأت بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير. He tells his son, oh my son, إنها and ها ضمير الشأن or ضمير القصة. You have إنها meaning الخصلة السيئة. That, oh my son, if there is any evil that you had done, إنها إن تكن مثقال حبة من خردل, even if it is the size of a mustard seed, oh, it's in a boulder, or it's in the skies, or however small or great, how micro or macro level that evil is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. إن فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات في الأرض يأتي بها الله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will seize you for that. إن الله لطيف بإخراجه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring out these sins. It's not that He cannot see, He is veiled. أسمع بهم وأبصر. And then we had spoken about how there is no wali, there is no authority, no guardian, no protector, no friend besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the word of Allah cannot be changed. وَلَن تَجِدَ مِن دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. And you will not find any refuge, any other protector, any help other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The poet says, إِنَّ الَّذِي تَرْجُوهُ مِنَ الْبَرِيَّةِ مِسْكِينٌ ابْنُ مِسْكِينٌ. That the one that you think, oh, I need some help, let me go and seek assistance from that person, and you implore that person, and you beseech that person. That guy's just as feeble as you are. He's just as weak as you are. He's just as dependent and you as you are. He has nothing, you have nothing. He may have, maybe he is a person of authority. He has some muscle, some clout. ذلك مبلغهم من العلم. There is a cut-off point, a limit, a pinnacle, a climax to his knowledge, his help, his assistance, whatever attributes he may have. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. On top of every person who has some type of knowledge, who has some skill, is the one who's more skillful, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَن تَجِدَ مِن دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. You will not find other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We continue. In verse number 27, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins in the verse that I recited, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. يعني على الدوام. And O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, be patient, be tolerant, be forbearant. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ. Hold yourself with patience and tolerance with those يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ, that they supplicate to their Lord morning and evening, meaning على الدوام, perpetually, continuously. Now, what is this referring to? There was an incident where the Prophet ﷺ was sitting with some of the chiefs and some of the high authority members and some of those people of power of the Quraysh. And he was sitting with them, and with the Prophet ﷺ was those companions who were regarded as poor. They didn't have the means. They were low in the eyes. Obviously, in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's not looking at monetary wealth. He's not looking at your money. So this had, but to the people, and especially those, the infidels with authority, with power, looking from the worldly lens of their eyes, this was something that, how are we sitting with these people who are lower than us? How are we sitting with these people who are not in the same class? The likes of Suhaib Rumi radiallahu anh, and Salman radiallahu anh, and Ammar radiallahu anh. And these were great companions of the Prophet ﷺ. These were the pinnacle of the companions. Obviously, every Sahabi is great. Every companion of the Prophet ﷺ is great. But even in the Quran, there is the distinction. لا يستوي منكم من أنفق من قبل الفتح وقاتل أولئك أعظم درجة من الذين أنفقوا من بعد وقاتلوا. That the companions are not the same. They are not equal from amongst you, the ones who gave monetary and who spent and fought before the conquest and the victory of Makkah. أُولَٰئِكَ أَعْظَمُ دَرَجَةً. They are those who accepted Islam prior, they have higher regard, they have higher rank. So these were close companions of the Prophet ﷺ who did not have the monetary and that level of wealth and respect. So the mushrikun of Makkah, they told the Prophet ﷺ, we cannot be sitting with these people. We cannot, and this was not the first time they had made this request to the Prophet ﷺ. In the previous juz, in the previous surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِن كَادُوا لَيَفْتِنُونَكَ عَنِ الَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ تفتري علينا غيره وإذا لاتخذوك خليلا وإن مخفف إلى المثقل. So it's supposed to be inna. Mukhaffaf means that you have in without a tashdid and you have inna with the tashdid. So it's in bima'na inna. So inna means definitely, verily, and in comes for nafiya or for shartiyya. Like either it's a negation or it is a condition. When it has a condition, you have majzoom and jaza, what have you. So over in, meaning inna, verily, definitely. كادوا حرف مقاربة. You are on the verge. It's very close. It's in close proximity. لا يفتنونك أي لا يصرفونك. That they want to divert your attention. عن الذي أوحينا إليك. They want to divert your attention from what we have revealed to you. لتفتري علينا غيره. So that you can concoct and fabricate something that's not there. They're asking you for stuff that's not there. They want to divert your attention from something that we have not revealed to you. Why? لِتَفْتَرِيَ عَلَيْنَا غَيْرًا. So that you can fabricate and concoct something that's not there. وَإِذًا لَاتَّخَذُوكَ خَلِيلًا. And if you are to oblige to their request, and you are to say yes, and you are to succumb under the pressure, they will make you their close bosom friend. In Arabic, you have Khalil, or you have Sahib, or you have Sadiq, or you have Rafiq, and all of these have different fine differences between them, but we cannot get into that. وَإِذَا لَاتَّخَذُوكَ خَلِيلًا. They will make you their close friend. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says something so powerful. And this is in correlation with the verse that we're speaking about. We're saying that the Quraysh said, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can't be sitting with these people. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَوْلَا أَن ثَبَّتْنَاكَ لَقَدْ كِدْتَ تَرْكَنُ إِلَيْهِمْ شَيْئًا قَلِيلًا. ولولا, and if we did not, أن ثبتناك, ثبت يثبت تثبيت. If we did not strengthen, we did not empower, we did not give you that energize and invigorate you, لقد كدت تركن إليهم شيئا قليلا. Then, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كدت again حرف مقاربة, تركن to slightly incline. O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we did not strengthen you, then you would suddenly, slightly, somewhat outwardly, apparently be inclined to them in the minutest and littlest of forms. وَلَقَدْ كِدْتَ about, so it hasn't happened, but you are on the verge. تَرْكَنُ to slightly incline, شَيْئًا which means little, قَلِيلًا which also means little. That you are so close to very slightly inclining that you might have the thought, but maybe they're right. But maybe they're, and in Bayan al-Quran it's written so beautifully, نَصٌّ عَلَى أَنَّ عِصْمَةِ اللَّهِ, that it's written that this is so that we believe that the prophets are ma'asum. They haven't committed any sins. And this ayah is also an indication to that, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is protecting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even the minutest of forms. So in Bayan al-Quran it's written that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He is the one protecting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from such a small, minute thing, then how can you be so bold and so audacious to say, oh yeah, I'm a pious guy. Oh yeah, even the Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, it's not because of you. لَقَدْ وَلَقَدْ ثَبَّتْنَاكَ. We did it to you. This is our favor. So in the verse that we recited, if we go back, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be patient. مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه. To those who beseech Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala morning and night, like Suhaib Rumi. And Suhaib Rumi radiallahu anhu is the one in the second juz. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse regarding him. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. That the one who sold what he had, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Suhaib Rumi was migrating from Mecca to Medina, then he was stopped by the Quraysh, and the Quraysh were about to kill him. And he says, سَأُدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى كَنْزِي, that I'm going to tell you about some treasure that I have buried in Mecca. Spare my life and take my belongings, take my treasure. He said, okay. They let him go. He comes to Medina, and the ayah is revealed. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, and from amongst the Sahaba, may yashri is the one, and in Arabic you have some words. It's called abdad, the opposite of lid, or the plural of lid. So lid means opposite, and the plural of lid is abdad. It means that there are some words Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used, but the opposite is intended. So for example, وَاشْتَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ. Now اشتروه here could mean باعه or اشتروه. That either they bought or they sold. Both could be used here. In فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس. When the night إذا أقبل أو أدبر. When it appears or when it disappears. When it comes, when it goes. Both could be used. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Kahf in the beginning on the 16th page, when he talks about the king, وَمِن وَرَائِهِ مَلَكٌ, and wara usually means khalf, but over here it means amam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses words with the opposite meaning intended. This is one of those places. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. That person who had the transaction of selling what he had, selling his belongings, to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this was speaking about Suhaib Rumi radiallahu anhu. So, O Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, be patient, be tolerant on those type of companions who are beseeching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuously, perpetually, yuriduna wajha, intending His pleasure, His rida, His happiness. Talking about the companions, and we had spoken about the incident that took place. And this speaks that I hope that from this we can take away the lesson of just being humble, humility. That you have to be humble in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam does not become boosted, and Islam does not become at a higher level, and it does not achieve higher grades because oh, this celebrity accepted Islam, oh, this guy of fame accepted Islam, this person of no, Islam was great already, and it was through Islam that that person became even greater. He did not boost Islam in even the slightest. Today we have this is a great misconception that we have that oh, did you see that such and such celebrity accepted Islam? No, it doesn't matter. He was favored by Islam. It's not the opposite, it's not the other way around. And often what happens is in our daily lives, we are we are too arrogant and too proud where we just neglect the sunnah of the Prophet. ﷺ. I don't really eat on the floor. Or to eat with my hands, that's not really from amongst me. There was a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Darda radiallahu anh. They went to go visit. They were with the Romans in a delegation. They're eating at the Roman table, and Abu Darda radiallahu anh is using his hands to eat, and another companion is sitting beside him, and he's using the spoon. That's what the Romans used to use. So he looks at him and he says, "You're eating with your hands, like here? أَأَتْرُكُ سُنَّةَ حَبِيبِي? Am I supposed to leave the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" When Umar radiallahu anhu, and I don't have time to get into all these stories, when Umar radiallahu anhu came into Jerusalem, and they said, "You're coming in dressed like this, you couldn't find anything better to wear, like you're coming into a big type of gathering, there's people are عَزَّنَ اللَّهُ بِالْإِسْلَامِ." We had nothing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us honor by Islam. How can you be so? And I always say, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dependent, it's so thankful. And we are so needy and so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is independent. And we are so dependent, he's so arrogant. So dependent, he's so arrogant. Aisha radiallahu anha, she says, إِنَّكُمْ لَتَغْفِرُونَ عَلَى أَفْضَلِ الْعِبَادَةِ. That you guys have become so heedless and so oblivious to the greatest worship. What is that? It's that tawadhu, that you're humble. When Prophet ﷺ entered into Mecca, وَذَقْنُهُ عَلَى رَاحِلَتِهِ, his head lowered to such an extent that his chin is on his conveyance. His chin is touching his horse. مَنْ تَوَاضَ عَلَى اللَّهِ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ. The one who has humility, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises his rank. when Prophet ﷺ went for Isra wal Mi'raj, and he was given the two options between either he could have milk or he could have wine, and Jibreel alayhi told him, Tawada, that Muhammad ﷺ, be humble, choose the humble option. So every single instant in the life of Prophet, you notice all these different levels of humility. But when it comes to us, we just display levels of arrogance and ignorance, left, right, and center. Just, oh, that's not for me. I don't eat with my hands. That's not good enough. Oh, be humble. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He instills us with humility. So they said, we cannot sit with these people. Prophet ﷺ said, no, I sit with these people. I sit with the low companions. يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم, and do not divert your attention away from them. عبر بهما بصاحبه, don't turn away, don't look away, don't divert your attention away from them. تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا. In what type of way, in what type of manner, that you divert your attention away from them, wanting and intending the beauties and adornments of this world. And in all the tafsir, you find it written so beautifully. If you had to know about the life of the Prophet ﷺ, there's one hadith that sums it up so perfectly. Ka'b radiallahu anhu, he says, I entered the masjid. رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم متغير اللون. I see the Prophet ﷺ, his complexion, his face is just pale and different. And I asked him, Ya Rasulullah, ما لي أراك متغير اللون? Why is it that I see you different in complexion? He says, Al-Jur, I'm hungry. So Kabbalah says, I couldn't take it. I left. I went. I worked for some Jewish person, and I worked all day, all day, all day. And in lieu of my work, I came back with some dates. End of the day, I presented the dates before the Prophet ﷺ, and I said, take this. And the Prophet ﷺ became so happy, so elated at this small gesture. He says, Oh, تحبني يا كعب. Oh, Ka'b, do you love me? He says, of course. No, no. انظر ما تقول. Be genuine. Do you actually love me? So the Ka'b says, of course I love you. He says, إن كنت صادقا فأعد للفقر تجفافا للفقر أسرع إلى ما يحبني من السير إلى منتهى. That, oh Ka'b, if what you're saying is true, then poverty comes closer to the one who loves me than water slides down a slippery slope. Prophet ﷺ is walking with Abu Bakr Umar radiallahu anhu. He comes to a garden, and from the garden, the Prophet ﷺ is trying to pick the dates and eat the dates. And Abu Bakr Umar and these are like rotten dates, the dates that have fallen on the ground. They're not fresh dates. Abu Bakr Umar is looking at like, what's going on. Prophet ﷺ said, منذ ثلاثة أيام, it's been 3 days, and food has not entered the belly of the Prophet ﷺ. And we can go on and on about these different ahadith and narrations. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell me in this verse? تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا, that, O Muhammad, don't disincline away from them, intending the beauties and adornments of this world. Do you think that the Prophet ﷺ had even the slightest level of luxury in this world? But yet the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate teacher, is the ultimate reminder, is the one who is giving him his tazkiyah and tarbiyah. Oh, Muhammad ﷺ, don't look away, that even the slightest thought comes into your head. Let me turn away from these poor people, focus on the rich people of Quraysh. No, don't. وَلَوْلَا أَن ثَبَّتْنَاكَ لَقَدْ كِدتَ تَرْكَنُ إِلَيْهِمْ شَيْئًا قَلِيلًا. So we continue. So he says, don't even turn away. تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا, and do not be inclined to the one whose hearts have become heedless and hard. ولا تطع من أغفلنا, the one who we have made his heart. Why? Because of بفقره, because of his pride and his haughtiness, that we closed off his heart. ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا, his heart is closed from our remembrance. واتبع هواه, and he is just following his desires. وكان أمره فرطا, and his orders are in disarray and are in troublesome and are in heedlessness and in darkness. Don't be inclined to those types of people. Today, those are the people that we are most inclined to. You, you ask your children, or even yourself, that, oh, we can name all the stuff that happens with this celebrity and this athlete and this politician, but we can't name one companion. The life of half of us don't even know Abu Bakr radiallahu real name. But these are the people whose hearts are the most hard. And they're following their desires day and night. وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا وَقُلِ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. And O Muhammad, tell them that the truth has arrived. The truth has come from your Lord. وَقُلِ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ, that the truth has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whoever wants, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever wants, then he should believe, and whoever doesn't, he should disbelieve. This, when you study basic books of Usul al-Fiqh, Usul al-Shashi, Nur al-Anwar, they give you the different meanings of Amr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over here gave you the Amr lit-Tahdeed. And this is, so the child tells, so the dad tells his child, oh, go jump off the cliff. Oh, fine, go jump in the ocean. Oh, fine, go put your hand on the iron. Go touch the stove. He's not actually telling, oh, dad told me to touch the stove. No, he's giving it to him as a, like, let's see what happens. للتهديد, أمر للتهديد. So if you want, believe. If you don't believe, not actually don't believe, but see what happens. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ نَارًا أَحَاطَ بِهِمْ سُرَادِقُهَا. Verily we have prepared. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say, إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ. That we have prepared for the transgressors. And even as believers, we transgress limits day and night. And I just need to get through the verse so we can't get into all the examples. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ نَارًا. We have prepared for them a fire, ahata, surrounded. It is surrounded and engulfed in its flames, in its walls. And one of the walls of the fire, it's flames. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a similarly, a analogy, an example, bihayma, like a tent, and how it's covered. So similarly, the fire is fully engulfed and covered in its own flames. لهم من فوقهم ظلل من النار ومن تحتهم ظلل. From above them is the flames of the fire, underneath them is the flames of the fire. لهم من جهنم مهاد. Their bedding, their bed and mattress will also be from the flames of the fire. سرابيلهم من قطران. Their clothes itself will be flammable and from the fire, just totally engulfed in fire. نارا أحاط بهم سرادقها وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل. And because of the extreme heat of the fire, they will say, oh, please bring us something to drink. Bring us some water. They will then be given a cup that will be filled with water that looks like the residue of oil, meaning karahiyatul manzar. It's just disgusting to look at, despicable, like the residue of oil. And when they bring that goblet closer to their mouth to quench their thirst, they're going to bring the goblet closer, and as close as it gets, كالمهل يشوي الوجوه, that goblet from the liquid inside will begin to burn the outer layers of their skin. بئس الشراب وساءت مرتفقا. How wicked and how evil and how despicable and how lowly is this drink and their abode. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us understanding and tawfiq, and He makes us from those people who daily we seek refuge from the fire. اللهم أجرنا من النار اللهم أجرنا من النار اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يعز من عاديت ولا يذل من واليت تبارك ربنا وتعاليت نستغفرك ربنا ونتوب إليك. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واهد الناس جميعا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. اللهم قنا عذابك يوم تبعث عبادك. اللهم قنا عذابك يوم تبعث عبادك. اللهم اجرنا من النار اللهم اجرنا من النار. اللهم انا نعوذ بك من عذاب القبر وعذاب الحشر وعذاب الدين واحشرنا يوم القيامه مع الابرار. اللهم انا نسالك الجنه اللهم انا نسالك الجنه. اللهم قنا عذابك يوم تبعث عبادك. اللهم اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب القبر والنار. اللهم اجعل قبرنا روضه من رياض الجنه ولا تجعل قبرنا حفره من حفر النار. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. ولا تجعلنا مع القوم الظالمين ولا تجعلنا مع القوم الكافرين. اللهم تقبل صلاتنا وتلاوتنا وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا وتب علينا إنك